It is a beautiful evening in Sherman, Texas, as we welcome you in for League One soccer, presented by Parker University. No golden hat on the line in our game today, but we should have some shiny football in store this evening at Sherman Bearcat Stadium. It's our own red rivalry between Texoma FC and Richmond Kickers. Coming into the weekend, as we look at our USL League One standings, Texoma and Richmond knew that their fate was not in their own hands, as other teams were concerned with clinching playoff spots, securing home games and top four spots. It was the cruel winds of October that blew in from Charlotte, North Carolina, to eliminate Texoma and Richmond ahead of this one. They knew that with a Charlotte win, both teams would be mathematically out of the playoffs. So Adrian Forbes told me he was watching this game hoping for the dullest game of soccer that League One has ever seen. That's not exactly what he got. Charlotte goes up 2-0. It's not looking good for Texoma and Richmond, but AV Alta fight their way back into this one. A 2-2 equalizer late in the second half, but then in stoppage time, the long throw, and it's the sub, Swabu Maru, striking the final goal that knocks out Texoma and Richmond officially. But here in our last home match for Texoma FC, still a lot to look forward to, despite the fact that they're eliminated. Their home contests this year have been absolutely bonkers. You're talking stoppage time drama, results like 4-3, 5-4, 3-3 on multiple occasions, and on average, 3.4 goals per game in their home matches this season. So expect some fireworks at historic Bearcat Stadium. There were fireworks at City Stadium as well last weekend as Richmond upended the top team in the table, won Knoxville. This beautiful strike from Adrian Billhard getting involved, and Coach Darren Sawatsky told me that this was the vision that he had laid out for his team, getting them more attacking, solid at the back, and this goal from fullback to fullback really represented that strength and that dynamic play that he wanted to see out of his squad. The reason that those fullbacks were able to get so high and so involved was the strength behind them of a unique center-back partnership, one that we did not expect, between Beckett Howell and Marcelo Lage, the man right in front of him here as we check out our warm-ups. Beckett Howell playing his first career game at center-back, but he did play there in the academy and showing his ability to play multiple positions here in USL League One as a pro. Will they be back at center-back? We'll let you know right after this break as we have starting lineups and kickoff coming up from Sherman, Texas. Almost time for kickoff at Youth Sports Night and Fan Appreciation Night, final home game of the season for Texoma FC. Let's meet our cast of characters for tonight's match, starting with the home side. For Adrian Forbes, Just one change necessary in the starting lineup. No Luke McCormick from the start. He is replaced in the lineup by Reed Valentine. That may require a change in shape. We're not exactly sure how that front line's going to shake out. But as always, the man to watch, Ashmere Spengler, number 10. He will play along the front with McManus and Lamine Jonah. And that is quite a dynamic combination, providing lots of options in that Texoma attack. Here is what they will go against for Richmond Kickers, an unchanged team from their last match against One Knoxville. And hey, you beat the league leaders. Why make any changes? So it is their best 4 attacking players all on the pitch at the same time. Terzaghi, Espinal, Kirkland, and Billhard all in there in that front 4. Seifert and O'Dwyer man the midfield. And the return of Maxi Schenfeld really was huge for them in the last game. He had the game-winning goal. As we teased before the break, the center back combination of Beckett Howell and Marcelo Lage, a bit different, but quite effective against One Knoxville, and they'll roll with it again in Texoma. Their playoff hopes may be dashed, but the heartbeat of American soccer still alive in Sherman, Texas. The final home match of Texoma FC's debut season officially underway, as Ashmere Spengler attempts to spear it into the 18-yard box. An early attack for Texoma in all black this evening. Richmond in the road whites, and my name is Parker Johnson. So happy to welcome you in, and glad that you've joined us despite the unfortunate playoff fates that were decided last night for these two squads. A lot left to play for, and in this professional soccer environment, pride always on the line. It's a series that has only had one prior meeting, and that was a win here at home for Texoma much earlier this season by a 2-1 scoreline, as indicated by the fact that Solomon Asante was the game winner that day. Played forward. Perkins in a very advanced position, the right back for Texoma, and they're able to win a corner. We got handed the starting lineups. We were a little unsure on whether it be a 4-back or a 3-back. In either case, Perkins given a lot of license to move forward, and this man, Teddy Baker, patrolling the midfield. It's been one of those stalwart pieces in Adrian Forbes' first season here in the States as a head coach. 3 goals, 1 assist on the year for the former Ipswich Academy man, Teddy Baker. He lines up this corner for Texoma. It's a good ball into the 6-yard box. Dealt with first by Kirkland. It's right back out to Baker. Immediately pressure on from Texoma. A team that comes in rough form, winless in their last 6 matches, and overall just 1 win in their last 15 in all competitions. Trying to end the season on a high note. It's been a roller coaster year for this expansion team, as we will see an early yellow card handed out. And this will be given to Texoma. Looks like our man Reed Valentine, the lone change in the starting lineup, as he went in late on Terzaghi. It's not a good challenge. Sometimes you can get away with something like that 3 minutes into the match, but Texoma haven't gotten away with too much this season. They do lead the league in terms of yellow cards and total cards, with yellows and reds combined. That is their 91st yellow card of the season. 6 red cards to boot. Jauna brings it down. Well defended, though, by Simon Fitch. Physical intensity very high from the start for Texoma. Spangler hits the turf this time. Making sure they know from the opening whistle that this game will not be taken lightly, even after that result in Charlotte last night. And the early going, Perkins is playing in a very advanced position. Finally starting to see the shape that Texoma is taking on in this one. Looks like Perkins an out-and-out right winger in this one. He's been an outside back for every game that I've seen this season. Sometimes a wing back when they go with the back three, but this is a very advanced role for him, with Valentine covering right back behind him and giving him plenty of freedom to move on beyond the back line. It's a dynamic attacking group for Richmond as well, as they seek out Espinal. Cute touch from Terzaghi, the all-time leading goal scorer. Deflected behind for a corner. A crucial intervention from Angelo Calfo as Terzaghi gets a sniff at goal. Calfo did well to get his arm out of the way. It was dangling up a little bit as he went to ground to go for the block. Schenfeld's ball headed away. Jordan Chavez dominant at the back, the captain. Sneddon puts his laces through it, and head coach Darren Sawatsky did tell me before this match that his Richmond kickers needed to be very careful on how they distributed the ball against Texoma. The strength of Texoma FC here in their debut season has been playing without the ball and striking in transition. So early on, we see Sneddon choosing to go long rather than playing out of the back, as he often does for Richmond. And with the kind of pressure applied by Perkins, you can see why he's a bit hesitant, not wanting to play around back there. Perkins bringing a real spark to the front line for the opening 6.5 minutes. Baker now with the quick turnover. Kept his shot low. Terzaghi popping it over the top. Texoma's last match right here at Sherman Bearcat Stadium against AV Alta. And speaking with Adrian Forbes, said he was a little surprised as Perkins is going to be caught offside here. AV Alta is the #1 possession team in USL League One, averaging over 60% possession per game. They ended that one with 43% in a 1-1 draw that in the end didn't really help either team very much. But he was shocked at the way that AV Alta came out and gave Texoma the ball. They decided that instead of their typical short passing and patient buildup, they were just gonna lump balls over the top. And Forbes did admit that he felt like it may have been a piece of scouting on his own team, something that he's seen in the film, where Texoma have a tough time dealing with direct plays and long balls aimed right at their back line. Seems like Richmond in the early goings picked out the same pattern. This time they'll play out as Schenfeld connects with O'Dwyer, who's got a very strong fan section out at historic Bearcat Stadium. An England native. Perkins, dispossessed by Marcelo Lage. A neat tackle as ever from the towering center back. A midseason acquisition has really helped solidify this back line for Richmond. And Billhard on the move. Fitch connects. The shot from Kirkland's deflected by Valentine. The first look at goal for the local lad, Josh Kirkland. 8 goals this season, a real breakout campaign for him. Coming out of the University of Mary Washington, a Division III school. He was on trial for 7 months with Richmond before signing his full contract in September of last year. Grew up going to Richmond Kickers games, and to see the way that he has flowered into such an effective striker this season. Just been awesome development for Darren Sawatsky and his staff. They focus a lot on the young players, and you hear that all the time, but just as much, they find the gems. They find the players like Darwin Espinal hanging around in Nisa with Maryland Bobcats. They find the likes of Jonathan Canagua, a 4-year college player who went to VCU, and he's on the bench for this one. Players who may not get a look from some other clubs. They make the most out of them. Kirkland's certainly one of those. Kirkland and Espinal dovetailing either side of Terzaghi this evening. Jauna. Terzaghi all by himself. 5 black shirts for company. And down goes Terzaghi to win a valuable free kick for Richmond Kickers. USL on the CBS Sports Network closes out October with a championship Western Conference showdown. Playoff-bound New Mexico United take on Oakland Roots SC. That is Sunday, October 19th at 5 p.m. Eastern on the CBS Sports Network. Texoma will have to be extra aware when they do give away free kicks. Not even the ones close to their own penalty area, but anywhere on the pitch, because both of Richmond's goals against one Knoxville started from free kick positions. Espinal going for it himself. And the early going, 3 blocks by that Texoma back line already. Jauna has a run on Beckett Howell, trying to play it across. It strikes the body of Marcelo Lage. No whistle forthcoming as Texoma and their fans pleading for a penalty. Lage did very well to keep his arm tucked alongside his body, but you could see the burst of pace from the Gambian attacker. Absolutely no match for Beckett Howell. Billhard. It's through to Terzaghi going down, and first he was offside, giving us a chance to look back at that last penalty shout on the other end of things. Did this strike the arm of Marcelo Lage? Boy, it did. But the proximity to the ball and whether or not his arm was extended in an unnatural position are considerations for the referee there, who had a great look at it. Mohammed Hassan denying the penalty claims, and you know, I'm not too upset about that. Richmond, it has been a problem for them though this season. I mean, that is as close as it gets. You can understand Jauna, but it's heart and throat moments for Darren Sawatsky and James Sneddon in goal. They've given away 10 penalty kicks this season. Only Westchester have conceded more, and it doesn't take long to figure out where that leaves you in the USL League One table. Can't give away chances from 12 yards. Ball may have gone out of play as Richmond choose to get it started quickly. Valentine spots the crossfield pass. Unable to reach Perkins with it. And much like Avialta did last week, it's Richmond happy to give Texoma the ball and let them try to break down this improved Richmond back line. Schenfeldt, muscled out by Jauna. We reach the 15-minute mark in this contest. I want to just once again say hello and thanks for tuning in to everybody on this fine Saturday night from Sherman, Texas. Bearcat Stadium, home of the Sherman Bearcats. Adrian Forbes said it took a little getting used to how crazy the fans are about American football here, but by seeing a high school football game between Sherman and Denison, the oldest running rivalry, Texas high school football, he was able to firsthand get a sense of what it means, and you feel that energy in the crowd as well in some of these Texoma home games. Kirkland, it goes through, great touch, Espinal! Smartly off the line from Valentine. Best moment of the match for Richmond. Terzaghi had all the attention, and Espinal had the right idea to go around Javi Garcia, but that gives the defenders just enough time to get back on the line. Espinal couldn't have done too much better there. Very smart recovery defending from Texoma. Real chances on both ends in the early going here. A stadium that has seen so many goals this season, 47 of them in league play. And that counts out a couple of crazy Jaeger Cup matches as well. Kirkland's battling with JP Jordan, who needs a little extra time to get back to his feet. Valentine checking on his teammate. Adrian Forbes said JP Jordan was the best player on the pitch against Avialta. 24 defensive contributions. And by the way, he's a midfielder, Forbes said. He said even he at times forgets, and was in awe of how well he played at left back, even though he's the man who put him there. Jordan just a dogged defensive presence. Said that Avialta recognized the fact that he's not a natural left back. They sent extra numbers his way. They tried to go at him in 1v1 situations, and he just stood up to it every single time. And his work eventually on the other end leading to this Texoma corner. Spangler considers his options in black. It's a back post ball, plenty of height to it, and Terzaghi smartly reading the cutback to send Richmond on their way. Jauna, the last man back. He'll be hard to beat for pace. But Terzaghi looking across. He had Espinal there. Kirkland arriving late. Texoma able to deal with the threat in transition. Schenfeldt stabbing back in. Espinal escapes. Billhard, loose touch. And the nutmeg from Jauna out for a throw. Watch the USL Championship in Spanish on TUDN, the nation's leading Spanish language sports network. Charleston Battery take on Birmingham Legion FC on Saturday, October 25th at 5 p.m. Eastern on TUDN. Go to uslchampionship.com for the complete USL TV listings. That will also be USL League One decision day for those who fancy as much football as they can get their hands on. Bill Hard, not the best pass, trying to sneak it through to Seufert. And Terzaghi wide right. Coach Adrian Forbes, 46 years old, the England native, having played every level from the 5th tier to the 2nd tier professional soccer in England, and still admittedly wrapping his head around the idea of the playoffs. I asked him about it this week, and for him, he's somebody who's so locked into the table. So even though he comes into this one knowing that his team mathematically can no longer make the playoffs, he is just focused as hard as possible on finishing as high in the table as he can. A 9th place finish is what Texoma have their eyes on, having been ruled out of top 8 contention. And for him, that's a big difference. You don't want to finish last. You don't want to finish 13th. You want to look back and say, man, we were right on the doorstep, and if a couple other things went our way, we could have been in those playoff positions. But he said that his own goal set for himself this year was to make the playoffs, and by not reaching that, he failed his own remit. Not something that was told to him by anybody at the club, but he understands that that's where the value is in the American soccer system, and the postseason approaching. Disappointed in that, but taking lessons into next year. Jauna. As Perkins at the back post, McManus. An acrobatic move from Texoma. We've seen McManus do damage here at historic Bearcat Stadium this season. This is the side of the field where he scored Texoma's first goal in club history, way back in the Open Cup in March. He also scored their first goal in league play at home, where he has a absolutely stellar record this season. All but one of his goals this season have come at home in all competitions, and McManus does have 7 of them to his name, along with 2 assists. Perkins loving this pocket on the left wing as he works on Fitch. He's gotten into that space 3 or 4 times here, the halfway mark of our first half of action. It's a much different approach from Adrian Forbes today. Playing with a lot of fluidity along the front 4. Spangler in the pocket as usual. McManus the centerpiece up top, but Jauna and Perkins switching sides a few times already. And what a joy that must be for Will Perkins. Player spent 5 seasons playing college soccer, his first year as a pro. Played in 26 out of their 27. It's backed up well by Angelo Calfo, but a corner coming for Richmond as Simon Fitch getting into an advanced position. Team of the Week honorable mention this week for Fitch, who became a Richmond Kickers Centurion a couple matches ago, and then he was able to celebrate that with a honor before their home match against Knoxville, and got an assist to his name, involved in both goals, in fact, in front of a 5,500 crowd at City Stadium last weekend. It's his opposite fullback, Maxi Schenfeld, who strides into the shadows to take this corner. And a lot of bodies in that 6-yard box just in front of Javier Garcia's goal. Hassan keeping a close eye on the proceedings. A flash to the near post from Terzaghi, and they will be able to do it all again. Terzaghi hitting the middle of the frame this time, punched away. Great strength from Espinal to win that ball and knock it back to Fitch. Bilhard has a little bit of pressure here, but Fitch the release valve. So we still await our opening goal of this contest. Seufert combining with Espinal. Schenfeld spots Kirkland. He's got Espinal waiting in the middle. He wants it. He gets it. Darwin Espinal off to Bilhard. The kicker's in motion once more. Down he goes in the box, and a penalty to Richmond. Clear as day. Calfo took him down. Richmond had Texoma on the ropes that entire possession, and finally able to draw contact in the box. The back heel from Terzaghi. Bilhard comes around the corner. Just excellent stuff from Darren Sawatsky's men. It's a clear foul from Calfo, despite his frustrations. And Chandler O'Dwyer can step up to take this. The only Richmond Kickers player to score a penalty kick this season. As Richmond seek to take the lead against one of the best penalty stoppers in USL League One in Javi Garcia. O'Dwyer saved! And the rebound blocked away. Javi Garcia has done it again. How does he do it? 6 penalty saves this season. And with that, he becomes the all-time leader in USL League One in his first season in the league. Just remarkable. And there is a little bit of a claim on the rebound that O'Dwyer was taken down from behind. But such a mess of bodies in front of Garcia, who did very well to get back to his feet after the save. And there is just some way that he gets in these kickers' heads from the spot. It is just otherworldly, that sixth sense he has. Garcia, a player who coming into the season wasn't even the starter for Texoma. And their unbeaten streak of 8 consecutive games from May 10th to July 5th coincided with his entry into the starting lineup as Adrian Forbes made the switching goal from Mason McCready. And it's had some historic dividends, at least from the penalty spot. Calfo really struggling to continue. Dwyer not even looking at the goalkeeper, not really giving a lot away on that penalty in terms of which direction he was trying to put it. But he wasn't able to stick it far enough in the corner, and Garcia guessing right. The trend over those 6 saves that he's made, there's been a number of them where he's dove to one side and players have tried to keep it down the middle. Garcia is so qualified at keeping his legs available to make a save. Even if he dives past the ball, it's at least the 3rd one that I've seen that he's stopped with his trailing foot. Calfo now off the pitch, so Texoma will defend this corner with 10 and evaluate if they need to make a change. But not ideal to have to potentially bring off one of your center backs in the first half. On comes the corner from Schenfelds. Diving header from Terzaghi. Jauna able to clear before Espinal latches on. It's really a shame because that move from Richmond to draw the penalty was sizzling stuff. Hopefully there's more of where that came from, and they're able to strike from open play. As the foul coming out, whistled against Jauna. Couple of important blocks, a goal line save, and a penalty save to boot for Texoma in the early going. A bit of a miracle that this game is still scoreless from their standpoint. And it really does fall in line with the underlying numbers for Texoma this season. They've given up 50 goals on the year. Their expected goal difference, so the amount of expected goals they have scored minus what they've conceded, worst in the league at -23. And over time, those are numbers that tend to shake out. They haven't gotten as much going on the other ends. But just like they've done tonight, there's been so many games where they've made the right play at the crucial moment, whether it be a pinpoint finish in the attack, a last-minute save, some heroics from Javi Garcia to be able to stay in matches, extend them, and really just bring so much entertainment in their first year here in League One. McManus has delivered quite a few goals on his behalf, 5 in the league, as he sniffs out an opportunity from this corner. Spangler in towards the goal and knocked out by Sneddon. Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. From the Academy to the big league, Select is there every step of the way. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. So there will be a change necessary. Angelo Calfo out. And it's Aldair Flowers who comes into the match. Now, this is a very interesting switch because Flowers listed as a forward, maybe we'll see Perkins drop into the back line as these Flowers immediately making himself an option for Spengler, who keeps it alive here. 1-2, Spengler off the post. And Flowers nearly getting an assist with his first touch of the match. The 18-year-old Academy product, just his third appearance of the season, called into action off the bench. What a moment. And that's the magic of playing with Ajmir Spengler. He made that initial run, and he was starting to think, why didn't I get the ball there? Spengler was just navigating, hanging on to it. He goes right back to his man, setting up that 1-2 and the shooting angle. But the fortune going back in Richmond's favor after Texoma have gotten away with a couple on the back line. It's Richmond benefiting from the woodwork. Texoma only created their academy team this summer in July, the under-19 side, and they have signed a couple of players to USL Academy contracts. Flowers, one of them. Also got Lucas Cristales on the bench, who could make his professional debut potentially. As Texoma start building towards the future and showing off that pipeline to pro that, of course, Richmond knows very, very well. Two players in the starting lineup today who began the season as teenagers. Beckett Howell has since turned 20, but James Sneddon in goal, still 19. They are one of the teams consistently producing those academy products and getting them lots of minutes on the first team level. Bill Hart knocks it out to Simon Fitch. Kirkland makes his way into the box. Near post shot, stung at Garcia, and he's unable to hold it. So another corner for the visitors. Texoma just adjusting to those shifts at the back. It was Perkins who dropped back in. That forced Reed Valentine to move into the center back position. So that's two new players shifting into new positions on the back line. Ones that they've played before, but not where they started the match. Since the departure of Calfo, who's also a great presence in the air on plays like this. Swung in. It's Espinal, left-footed. Schenfeld serves again, and Howell's header skewing wide. A lot of work to do as he was fading back towards the ball. Had to really snap those neck muscles. And he gets good contact on it, but couldn't keep it inside the frame. First half stats quite even so far. 5 shots for Richmond kickers, 6 for Texoma. But Richmond already generating 1.3 expected goals, of course aided by that penalty, which was saved by Javi Garcia. Schenfeld trying to create more as he breaks up the left, working on the Academy product Flowers. Awkward ball, falls just near the near post. Garcia alert and reacts quickly. Ramos dropping into the quarterback position here. Pointing out directions as Valentine and Chavez split wide. Here is Ozzy Ramos. Perkins picking up position in midfield. It's Flowers. Up the left side, Spengler. And now the counter press on for Texoma, but a foul on Schenfeld. So they were just starting to navigate into that attacking shape. Soccer season is here, and SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of the USL. Get all your USL tickets and more from the #1 ticketing site, SeatGeek, your ticket to great seats. It is Youth Sports Night and Fan Appreciation Night here in this final home match for Texoma FC. At historic Bearcat Stadium, the home of Sherman High School, providing so many unforgettable moments throughout the year. I asked Adrian Forbes on the eve of this occasion, the final home match, what stuck out to him, and there were a few as the ball was sent into the middle. But the first on his mind was a match that on the scoreline may have been a bit forgettable. A early July fixture against Portland Hearts of Pine here that was delayed not once but twice. It didn't kick off until 11:17 p.m. local time, and yet there were a handful of fans who stuck around for the whole match well past midnight. And Adrian Forbes told me that that was the moment where it all just made sense to him. It all really meant something, that there were fans who were willing to stay to the bitter end and support this team. And the amount of fans that he's run into down here who are American football junkies, but have been so eager to embrace the game of soccer, he's taken real pride in bringing that to this region as well. First pro soccer team in the Texoma area. Plenty of talent coming out of Dallas. They signed a couple players from their open tryout ahead of the season. And those who have been really important to the campaign, the likes of Valentine, the likes of Leland Gray, the likes of Brandon McManus, the leading home goal scorer, and one who has really become a fan favorite. Nobody has shined brighter than Ajmir Spengler. There's a little bit of contact at the edge of the area, but looking for a call that is never coming his way. The 24-year-old out of Clearwater, Florida, a player they plucked from Tormenta FC, who Adrian Forbes felt like was not given the right opportunities at South Georgia to play his best position. And he took a lot of pride in being able to unlock his potential and give him the autonomy to play his best form of football, which comes from those central positions. It comes with the freedom to move up and down the pitch, knowing his attacking and defensive responsibilities. He's led from that 10 spot and been a worthy recipient of that jersey number this season. 9 goals, 4 assists to his name. Top of the team in both categories in league play. Just outside the top 5 in the Golden Boot race as well. He's level with Darwin Espinal on 9. Josh Kirkland has 8. Jauna battling the turf monster. Bilhard could be in. Tracked by Valentine. Sticking with him. And eventually losing out with some help from Teddy Baker. Just outnumbered there, Adrian Bilhard. Control escaping Altair Flowers. JP Jordan. He and Will Perkins have taken turns joining into the midfields. Two players very capable on the ball. Baker filling in those outside defensive spaces. Flowers trying to keep him pinned in. And so Dwyer able to get out of jail with the foul call. Darren Sawatsky ever tweaking on the sideline. Looking for ways to break through this Texoma team. A little bit of contact there. O'Dwyer just able to nudge his body between ball and defender. But he was at the center of the biggest moment of the first half. If you joined us late, Chandler O'Dwyer had his penalty kick saved by Javier Garcia. 6th save from the spot this season for the Texoma goalkeeper. A historic moment that has helped keep this first half scoreless. Ball sent high by Lodge. Trying to control is McManus. Now Spangler. Jalna's fast, and if he can't reach it, then you've certainly overcooked it. Handful of other chances as well, besides that penalty kick opportunity. One saved off the line by Texoma, and once striking the post of the Richmond goal for Texoma in attack. Spangler almost saw his shot deflected in. Here he is on the turn once more. McManus to his left, clears out the space. Spangler. He's grown in influence as the half has gone along. Trying to figure out where he can draw O'Dwyer in and out. Able to create space for the shot, but tugged at it a bit. O'Dwyer blasts one up the pitch. Kirkland trying to take a Thierry Henry-esque touch. As we reach the end of our 3 minutes of first half stoppage time, well, both teams maybe mathematically eliminated from the playoffs at this point, but plenty of entertainment in our first half. Javier Garcia, once again, a stalwart in goal. His 6th penalty save of the season, denying O'Dwyer from the spot, leaving us scoreless at the break. We're gonna step aside, and when we return, a great halftime show coming your way from Sherman, Texas, as USL League One continues. Halftime rolls on in Sherman, Texas. 0-0 our scoreline as it's the final home match of the season for one of our 2025 expansion clubs in Texoma FC. And they'll be joined next season by a gaggle of new clubs. Athletic Club Boise, Corpus Christi, Fort Lauderdale, Fort Wayne. Oh yeah, New York Cosmos are back. Sporting Cascades as well. And we will have more on Sarasota Paradise coming up very soon. But as we know where these USL League One teams will play next season, the question still remains of some of their stadiums, like Fort Wayne's, will end up looking like. Here's more insight into the plans underway for stadiums all across the United Soccer League.
In the USL, shovels in the ground mean as much as scoring goals. And Sacramento Republic is on its way to transforming the city's rail yard district into a soccer palace. The same is happening in the Motor City, with Detroit City's new home clearing way for stadium construction. Miami FC has unveiled its future home in South Florida, while the Pittsburgh Riverhounds prepare for their stadium expansion, preserving one of the best views in all of sports. The growth is felt as well in League One, with expansion on the way for 2026. The scene changes daily at the site of Fort Wayne's new home, from clearing the area in early June to the sweet sight of concrete and steel in mid-September. All watched closely by Fort Wayne's Director of Communication, Justin Cohn.
Thousands of people literally drive past this thing every day. So how cool is it for everyone to get a chance to see this thing every single day get closer?
Yeah, it's really cool. It's ideally located for people going to and from work, or they're driving down to Indianapolis, and you're seeing it in really at a rapid pace come up. So you're really seeing a lot of the facade of what will be the stands start to come up.
I look at the renderings. First thing I notice is this gigantic video board. So give me some of the neat things about that, because this might be the best thing in League One for sure.
Yeah, I mean, the scoreboard is something I'm really excited about. It'll be the second longest scoreboard in the entire state. So that means it eclipses an NFL stadium. You're going to have a lot of options at Fort Wayne FC Park in terms of watching the matches. There's a lot of possibilities that you can do with the scoreboard.
Fellow League One expansion club Boise is seeing its vision take shape as construction at the park at Expo, Idaho is full speed. And longtime League One club Greenville Triumph has kicked off construction at Bridgeway Station.
Whoa, termites can eat a pound of wood a day. 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 What's wrong, Daddy? Daddy? You okay?
Keep termites out of your home and your head with our premium guarantee that covers up to $250,000 in new termite damage. Before panic shows up, Terminix it.
On me. Tell them this like it.
Wait, come back! Wait, come back, I need more help.
Take a love take a love for free.
Today we went to the beach, and it was totally worth it. Get double points this fall at Best Western.
Our score at the break is 0-0 as we take you through the halftime show here on some Saturday night soccer in USL League One. Let's take a look at our league-wide news and notes. Coaching in paradise. That's right, Mika Elovara, the Richmond Kickers assistant coach, announced as the head coach for Sarasota Paradise coming into the league next year. Another new club in Athletic Club Boise. Got some investment from a U.S. Women's National Team player and NWSL star Sofia Huerta joining the ownership group out in Boise. And then Trinidad and Tobago got 3 USL League One players called up for this international window as CONCACAF World Cup qualifying continues. And we will have more on Mika Elovara's story in the second half, but a huge deal here with the Richmond Kickers. And coming up the rest of the weekend, here's a look at our schedule. There were some other action, of course, last night. We showed you at the beginning, Charlotte Independence win against AV Alta, knocking both of our current teams out of the playoffs. One Knoxville picking up another win to stay top of the table. Greenville Triumph got a draw against Union Omaha. And how about Forward Madison picking up the win against Chattanooga Red Wolves? We've also got Spokane Velocity and South Georgia Tormenta just started on ESPN+. We round it up tomorrow with Westchester and FC Naples and another one of our expansion team rivalries. So this time of the year, you start thinking, hey, who is going to come home with the Golden Boot? We got a couple of candidates. They're a little far down the list, though. Still behind the likes of Derek Gebhard, Christian Cheney, Carson Henderlong, Niall Reed-Steven, and the man in the catbird seat, Juan Carlos Obregón, who will play tomorrow and try to add to his 14 goals this season. The fabulous striker up in Westchester. That's going to be all for now. We will step aside, and when we come back, we'll show you the first half stats and first half highlights as we make our way towards second half action. Don't go anywhere. Let's take a look back at our first half highlights between Texoma and Richmond. A game between 12th and 13th in the USL League One table. Early chances for none other than Emiliano Terzaghi. 3-time MVP, flashing a shot high, having taken a deflection over the top. Richmond had a great chance with Darwin Espinal, who was able to evade Javi Garcia, but a save off the line from Reed Valentine kept it at 0-0. And then some great football from Richmond kickers, resulting in the penalty kick called against Angelo Calfo, saved yet again by Javier Garcia. Calfo would be injured on the follow-up and had to come out of this match, but the story once again is Garcia's heroics from the penalty spot, keeping Richmond off the board. There was one great chance shortly after for Ajmir Spengler as he combined with the substitute Flowers, who came in for Calfo, but nothing doing as it struck the post. So with that post, it doesn't count as a shot on target, and there were 0 in the first half for Texoma, but 7 for them, 9 for Richmond kickers, just showing once again, as we've learned all season in USL League One, possession is not the only thing that matters, and it's pretty noticeable that this is the exact possession split that happened in Texoma's last home match against AV Alta. Teams seem to have figured out that if you give Texoma the ball, that is the most effective way to play against them, and that's been the case against most teams in USL League One this season. Richmond kickers catching on, although a little late for both these sides as they have already been eliminated from postseason contention. But lots of great attacking players on the pitch as we get set for the second half action, which should give us plenty of reason to watch here in the second period. And for those of you, let's be honest, League One sickos who are sticking around for this one, not watching the likes of Spokane and Tormenta, you're fans of these teams, you are connected to these players just like we are, and there is always something on the line. Talking to Coach Forbes, of course, his emphasis on finishing 9th if you can't finish 8th. I thought that was awesome to hear. And for Darren Sawatsky, his ramblings about the importance of this match, they were a little more specific. He told me, listen, man, agents are calling my phone every single day, and these players aren't dumb. They know that they are playing for contracts, whether they are with us or with other teams. It's true of Texoma as well, and these players have their best interests in mind. So if you see some individual highlights, you can always add them to the reel. We'll see what comes out of this second half as we get back underway at historic Bearcat Stadium with Richmond in white, moving left to right this half, and Texoma in all black, going right to left. Baker has space. He's also got Brandon McManus, who was offside in the buildup. There was a player down in the defensive half there from Texoma as they continue to play on, and he may need some attention now. That's Will Perkins, who was all over the pitch in the first half. He started as a winger. He was forced to go back into the outside back position when Calfo came out of the game. But even once he was at outside back, he was basically playing as an auxiliary midfielder in the first 45. He's poked late there by Schenfeld, I believe it was. Those ones will sting. But Perkins given a bit more license to move about the cabin here in this 27th appearance of the season for him. He started 25 games. And for an expansion team to get that kind of solidity from their first year guy, so important at that outside back position. On the other side, it's been fill-ins, the likes of JP Jordan. And it's the Richmond left back, Schenfeld, who went in the book early on. Schenfeld, the game winner in their last match against One Knoxville. Got his first goal of the season. One of many players who have just been missing at the wrong time for Richmond this year. They've had such a staggering on their training table to where it's been very hard for Darren Sawatsky to put together his best 11 at the same time. They're close to that now, although they are missing a few center backs for this one. But the combination of Howell and Lodge has been quite good back there. They seem to have uncovered something special. Fitch. Terzaghi. Disappointed with his own finish. He will expect more out of himself, having put that select football in the back of the net 62 times in his USL League One career. Nearly double that of any other player to grace this league. Another player who has had stops and starts this season. And he's hit some of his best form in the last couple of weeks as the playoffs have gotten out of reach for Richmond. But he's looked spry. He's looked back to his best. Just 3 goals on the year, though. He's had a lot of competition up top from Darwin Espinal and Josh Kirkland. Even the likes of Landon Johnson, the Academy products, putting in a couple goals. Bill Hard back on the score sheet in the last match. Here's Teddy Baker. Left it short as he sought out Flowers. And out comes Sneddon, racing forward to the ball. Texoma's best chance of the first half came in a transitional moment, and when Richmond have allowed them to try to knock it around, they've had trouble breaking down the kickers. Head on a swivel from Ozzy Ramos. Schenfeld goes into the feet of Espinal. Here is that transitional moment that Texoma looks for. Spengler reverse pass out to Flowers. Eyes on his first professional goal. Set up very well by Spengler, returning the favor from their first half interchange. But positive goalkeeping from James Sneddon to deny his fellow teenager. And Spengler is at the controls in transition. It is just magical to watch. He's spotting that reverse pass the whole way. Able to manipulate the defense with his eyes, and here he is again, tiptoeing into the area, trying to cut it across. Starting to simmer. Hasn't had a lot of connection in front of him, though. At halftime, Brandon McManus had just 8 touches of the ball, cutting a frustrated figure up top. It's into the feet of Spengler once again. Jauna tracking down. Smoothly out of the back by Sneddon. Seufert, a slip from O'Dwyer. On comes Flowers, and the ball bobbled up just as he struck it. Bit of frustration, but he has been lively since he came on as an emergency substitute in the first half. Came on in the 34th minute, replacing Angelo Calfo. Dropping Perkins into the back line. And he's already formed a quick connection with Ajmir Spengler. Talking to Texoma coach Adrian Forbes before this one, he was really proud of a number of players and their development throughout the season. He highlighted Spengler and McManus, and he was sure to point out to me that it's not just about what they've done this year in terms of their growth, but how it sets them up for the next campaign. First of all, it's Kirkland, defended by JP Jordan. Another one of the players that Forbes felt deserved a bit more shine. And he really does have eyes on next year. He's excited to use the experiences that he's gotten, his first time in the United States. And a lot of these players, their first time playing in League One. It's a very unique league. Travel is difficult. It'll be a different story next year with a lot of new kids on the block. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access on Tuesday nights. Plus your live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM 157 and the new Sirius XM app. Espinal, that's where he's dangerous. Loves to check in onto his right foot. Anytime you see him dip that shoulder and open up the angle, that worry spikes up for the defense. Richmond will be able to press it here as they got the throw deep in the corner. Jordan flying it again. He attempted the most tackles in the first half. And he averages the most successful tackles on the team per 90 minutes. Second in that stat in all of League One. O'Dwyer comes onto it, drops it off to Seufert. Another chance goes begging for Richmond kickers. Kirkland got the wrong side of Jauna. Seufert always leaning back there. Couldn't wait for that ball to come to him quick enough. Texoma shuffle into shape once again with Jordan joining the midfields. Clipped over the top. Jauna draws Fitch in. Back post ball. Well dealt with by Schenfeld, who sends it behind for a corner. And urging more from his teammates. It's a tasty service from the Gambian Jauna. JP Jordan going down and looking for some sympathy from Mohamed Hassan. All smiles now. Spengler, low ball in, Baker flicks, and it's in for Texoma! Who else but Brandon McManus? Another goal at home in the final match of the season at Sherman Bearcat Stadium. The fan favorite strikes again. A Kentucky boy turned Texas talisman, putting Texoma in front 1-0 in the 60th minute. The first flick comes from Baker, and McManus alive inside the 6-yard box. That's why you stack so many people in front of the goalkeeper. Hard to tell even what part of his body it goes off of. Only he will know, and he will not care one bit. 8 touches in the first half and a telling touch in the second. Marking his 6th goal in the league this season. His 8th in all competitions. As we're gonna see a set of changes for both sides. Brian Padilla ready to enter for Texoma. Hayden Anderson and Jonathan Kanagwa coming in for the visitors. So one change up front for Richmond. We saw Anderson and Kanagwa come on as second half subs against one Knoxville. Anderson immediately coming out to the right side. Kirkland looks like he'll go into the middle where Terzaghi was, and a straight swap with Kanagwa for Adrian Bilhard in central midfields. Padilla replaces Jauna, who was starting to look a little leggy. That is also a like-for-like change out on the wing with another talented attacker coming on for Texoma. Padilla, a man who caught the eye of everyone here at Sherman Bearcat Stadium with 2 goals in an upset win in the Open Cup against Texoma. He was playing for Foro SC at the time, eventually went on to sign a 25-day contract in April, scored a goal and an assist in that short time for Texoma. And later on in the summer, they would sign him to a deal for the rest of the year. Hasn't scored or assisted since, but the opportunities have been few and far between with other attackers in form. He's been a prolific player at many levels, coming out of the Dallas area, going on to play at Maryland in college, and a player who could be a big part of the future for Texoma as we head into 2026. Played in the same academy as JP Jordan. Solar SC, the talented Dallas area youth setup. Simon Fitch looking for the substitute, Hayden Anderson. Looks like it went out of play. Either way, remains with Richmond as they seek the equalizer. It's been boom or bust for the kickers of late. A streak of 4 straight losses. 3 of those, they gave up 12 goals despite scoring 2 in each of those matches. Just unable to hold up at the back. They've had a couple of big wins as well. Notably in that last match against Knoxville. They're just struggling to find that consistency. And Darren Sawatsky said they're going to throw everything at the wall in this match, looking for a win. They don't care what's on the line in terms of the postseason. These guys are so competitive. And still just looking to prove that the plan they had set out for the season was one that could be effective when everybody is healthy and active. There's a flashpoint here in the area, and another man goes down. Tempers flaring in Texoma. Anderson in the center of it. Chavez trying to calm them all down, as is Marcelo Lage. The decision to be made here may be about the first incident before the reaction there. I think it's Ozzy Ramos who is left on the ground here, and then you have the shove back. I think it was McManus, who does have 2 red cards to his name this season, who reacted. But with no VAR in USL League One, unless the referee saw either incident, he really can't issue any punishment here, or unless his assistants had a good view of it and could help him out with the call. That is Ramos, who still has not gotten back to his feet. He was the first man to be thrown to the ground around the edge of the 6-yard box, which sparked the fury of the Texoma players. Adrian Forbes cutting a frustrated figure. eFootball is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball is free to play. Download now. Javier Garcia still beside himself, and that will be one player that the referee can have confidence in booking for his protests. But to this point, that is the only punishment that I'm aware of that's been doled out after all that kerfuffle inside the penalty area. And I'm sure that Mohamed Hassan will be keeping a much closer eye as we take the next restart. There's confirmation of the goalkeeper going in the book. Let's play some soccer. Schenfeld, dangerous ball in. A flying Garcia, less threatened than it may have looked. If you've got that left footer from there, Never a bad shout to just send that thing goalwards and see what happens, but have to keep it on frame to cause more trouble than Schenfeld did on that occasion. Goal from Brandon McManus around the hour mark is the difference so far. Texoma trying to close out the season with their 5th win at home on the season. But late drama has been all too common, especially going against Los Pájaros this season at Sherman Bearcat Stadium. The games seem like they are never quite over. Another spill for Ozzy Ramos. Hope that we can continue a clean game from here on out, but tensions heightened after those flashpoints. And an extra close eye being kept on the action. Perkins able to toss it back in. Not much for Baker to do with it. Bit of grappling back and forth with Chavez and Espinal. That call goes against the Richmond forward. Anderson neatly knotted down. Great idea from the Richmond substitute, but here comes Texoma the other way, striding through the middle, Padilla. And stumbling over his step over was Aldair Flowers. As simple as it may seem, you can sense the inexperience just on this actual playing surface from Flowers. There's been a couple times that his touches and passes, dribbles have been caught in the grass. And it's right on cue. Anderson slipping his way into the penalty area. It is high school football season. Sherman Bearcats away from home this week, but let's chew up the field a bit, having the multi-use. Espinal looking for an option out to the left. That's usually his pocket, and nobody there to help. Spengler saw that McManus was offside. He continues for now, awaiting some help, and I don't know that McManus was aware of the fact that he had strayed. O'Dwyer picks up Schenfeld. Now Espinal. Giving right back to Texoma. Spengler calling for it on the far side silently. McManus may have run his race. Likewise, Jordan Chavez, the man on his back. His center back partner from the start already had to be subbed off early in Angelo Calfo. He went off in the first half. as we pause here in the 73rd minute. McManus so far our lone goal scorer in this match. And as things stand, he is the match winner, whether he's able to stay on or not. This was the moment, the breakthrough. And based on the way this game is played out, it was always going to be a scrappy corner, wasn't it? So tightly contested between these two. Very even in the shot statistics. The XG certainly tilted in favor of Richmond, but they've had a penalty that they were unable to convert that skews those numbers a bit. A near perfect 50-50 possession. Lots to be encouraged with and lots to be frustrated about if you're Darren Sawatsky. Bigger concern here for Jordan Chavez. We'll see if he can re-enter after he steps off to the side. But given the situation, with both teams now knowing they've been eliminated from the postseason, courtesy of last night's result in Charlotte, if there is, in fact, a small muscle issue, no real reason to risk a key piece. But Chavez appears fine to stay on for now. It did look like Davey Mason was getting ready, who could come on at the back, but he's wouldn't be a direct center back replacement. So I'll let Adrian Forbes stew on that one and report to you our findings. Soyfert. Schenfeld with some acreage. Espinal taking down Flowers. As you look at one of the Academy products for Texoma, and a great piece of recruitment for Richmond in Espinal. Things are going to look a bit different in the framework of Richmond kickers next year, as Mika Elovara was announced as the new head coach of Sarasota Paradise, an expansion team for 2026 here in League One. He is the head assistant with Richmond kickers, and one who deserves a lot of the credit for developing some of these youngsters that we've become so familiar with. Hayden Anderson tracking it down, working against Jordan, entering the box and looking to the top for O'Dwyer. Espinal. It's a venomous hit, but too close to Garcia at the near post. And this whistle for the foul on Flowers may give us an opportunity to get a Texoma change. See if Hassan allows it. Davey Mason, the man ready to come on for the final 14 minutes here. And he will replace Brandon McManus, our game winner as things stand, with his 6th goal in the league this season. 5 of which have come right here at Bearcat Stadium. He leaves the hero for the moment. If Texoma are able to find their 5th clean sheet of the campaign, he does deserve some high fives for his efforts. Talking to Adrian Forbes, he said that McManus is one of those players that feels like he's let himself down, he's let his team down, he's even let his family down if he doesn't score a goal in a match, but he showed in their last game against AV Alta by drawing a penalty and battling with the Alta center backs. Wow, Perkins took a tumble. And the referee took his time, but a yellow card out. Looks like it'll be Beckett Howell to go into the book after some consideration from Mohamed Hassan. I have to say that's the right call. So dead ball opportunity for Texoma. A goal here would go a long way in helping them see out potentially their 7th win of the season. Try to continue on that march that Adrian Forbes has penciled in to finish as high as possible, regardless of the playoff outcomes. Spengler hits. He's worked short, trying to catch out Sneddon at the near post. An alert stop from the 3rd leading save maker in USL League One. He has faced more shots than any other goalkeeper in the league this season. And they've added 12 from Richmond to that tally tonight. Kirkland's trying to capitalize. A wasted moment on a near mistake from Texoma, who get out of jail again. Perkins must not have seen where Garcia was, because he left that one way short and Kirkland all over it. As Darren Sawaski calls on the Academy products, Landon Johnson, Richmond's youngest professional signing, back in July of 2023, signing a few months short of his 17th birthday. And he is joined by the youngest member of this year's Academy class, Grafton Call, who will make his first league appearance, a 17-year-old defender who came on in place of Schenfeld at that last stoppage. So we've seen some Academy guys on both sides here taking advantage of these last couple games down the stretch. Flowers coming in and getting some big minutes for Texoma, who was their first Academy signing. Johnson makes his 14th appearance of the campaign. 2 goals to his name in USL League One. Still finding his way as a pro, but has the tools for success. He's just been stuck behind some really high-quality attacking players in Richmond. Scored most recently against Westchester. Breakaway goal from the halfway line. An element that Espinal and Terzaghi don't always offer. Baker feathering in the pass, looking out for Brian Padilla. Here is Grafton Call getting his first touches of the match. Kirkland was mauled by the Texoma defender. No whistle forthcoming. Spengler brings in Baker. Flowers on the far side, defended by Call. Teenagers strutting their stuff. The USL Championship and League One are on CBS Sports and ESPN platforms all season long. Catch live matches and expert analysis every day on the CBS Golazo Network and ESPN+. Go to USLChampionship.com or USLLeague1.com for the full USL TV listings. Make sure you catch those last couple games of the season for these two. Just two left in league play after this weekend. We've seen tonight the type of young talent ready to make their mark here at the tail end of the season. Baker, headed away by Kirkland. Spengler had a pop. And one final change for Darren Sawatsky. Sees Ryan Baer come into the match, replacing Chandler O'Dwyer, who will be thinking about that penalty miss. The spooky presence of Javier Garcia in goal. As Baer enters the match for his 10th appearance of the season. A combative midfielder who holds the record for most appearances all time for the West Virginia Mountaineers in the college ranks. Bounced around USL League Two, MLS Next Pro, before coming on loan in the middle of the summer to the Kickers. A tidy Meg from Texoma. Here comes Johnson, tangled up in the turf. Kirkland entering the area, pokes it forward, and Johnson just got anything he could on it. Unable to sneak it through at the near post. A lot of players having trouble with the footwork on this torn up surface. Just striking at the wrong time for Richmond in that occasion. They've got Javi Garcia to thank for another penalty save. And on the run of play, no reason that Richmond should have a 0 by their name in the scoreboard. But that's been the kind of season it's been for the Kickers. And likewise, it's been the kind of season it's been for Texoma as well. I know this is the final home match for Texoma, but their last two on the road against two of the toughest teams in the league right now. They travel to Knoxville next Sunday to take on One Knox at 3 p.m. And then on the final day, they will go to South Georgia to take on Mark McKeever's mighty Tormenta FC. Riding a mean winning streak right now and taking on Spokane Velocity this evening. Can catch the second half of that one after this match comes to a conclusion. You don't even have to leave the ESPN Plus app. Meanwhile, Richmond Kickers, 2 games left, both at City Stadium. They return home next Friday to host AV Alta. And the final game of the season. Doesn't matter where you are in the standings. When the Henny Derby rolls around, that thing matters. And depending on how the table shakes out, they could help knock Madison out of the playoffs. on the final day, should they remain in contention as we see this foul one more time. Don't see much that Landon Johnson did wrong there, but referee has held a tight whistle ever since that mid-second half dust-up that left a couple players clutching their faces on the ground, and never really got a lot of clarity on what happened there. But another stiff challenge, this time Seufert, and letting his emotions get the best of him. Hard to get much more value for a yellow card. Former Kaiserslautern products. German native taking out his frustrations on that poor select ball. Almost ball into nowhere as we approach what is looking like 6 minutes of second half stoppage time, to be confirmed shortly. And at this point, it feels like Richmond can't get out of here quick enough. Their fate, unfortunately, written last night. Playoff hopes out of both teams' controls heading into the weekends. Spengler trying to put a cherry on top, playing Baker through. Didn't have the legs to get there. Confirmation of 6 minutes at a minimum of second half stoppage time. Couple more chances for some of these young players to make their mark. Likes of Flowers and Call. Ryan Baer taking the throw. Will it be Kirkland to add another to his tally? Working so hard. Thought he had won a corner kick at least. This will bleed off some more precious time for Garcia and Texoma. Been such an up and down season for Adrian Forbes. You think about starting 9 winless in their first 9 matches as a club, then to go on that 8-game unbeaten streak in the league between May and July. But since then, just 1 win in their last 15 matches in all competitions to close out the season. And that underlines how sweet this victory would be, especially to do it in front of the home fans. For the 5th time this season. And give them something to cling on to as they head into 2026 with so much young talent. So many players still learning this league, a coach likewise. And mentioned earlier, with those new teams coming in, it will ease some of the traveling burden and that feeling of being the new kid at the table when the others arrive. One of the new coaches to contend with is a man who's on the sidelines for Richmond Kickers tonight, Mika Elovara, announced as the Sarasota Paradise head coach. He's the one who developed the individual development plans for the likes of Johnson, for the likes of Howell and Sneddon, who we've seen come through the academy and make such a big impact on tonight's match and the rest of the campaign for Richmond. Helping bridge the gap, in Darren Sawatsky's words, from the academy to the first team. And a man who, in truth, is overqualified and overdue for a head coaching position. Great friends with Darren Sawatsky, who said he will be sad to see him go, but he's happy for his friends and wishes him nothing but the best until he comes up against the Kickers next season. As Seufert seeks more, is there a late equalizer in this one? Ramos desperate for the clean sheet. Flowers defends call and pushes him back. Ryan Baer, crafty ball, out comes Garcia to clutch and claim and spend an extra moment. His last precious few on the grass here at historic Bearcat Stadium. Flowers has Spangler. He's got the ball in the corner, and that's where he will choose to keep it going down. And not able to draw the foul near the corner flag. Assistant referee having absolutely none of it. But I'm sure Adrian Forbes will be happy with the intent there from his young winger. Making the professional play to try to waste a few extra seconds and see Texoma over the line for the full 3 points. Bear was clattered into. And Padilla trying to play this one to the final whistle as well. He knows what he's doing. One more launch for James Sneddon. Stoppage time, not usually comfortable here, but Texoma able to wrap the season with 3 points at home. Their 5th home win of the campaign, moving them to 30 points on the year, and the celebrations all around Javi Garcia with his 6th save on a penalty kick this season, making him the all-time leader in USL League One after a historic debut campaign with just 2 games remaining. The Kickers drop one after winning in Knoxville. We will wrap this one up on the other side of our break. Your full-time highlights and stats as Texoma take victory 1-0 in Texoma. A great win to wrap the season for Texoma FC as players and coaches celebrate with the fans at the full-time whistle. A goal from Brandon McManus, a big save from Javi Garcia as we take you through our full-time highlights. We start with a penalty kick earned by Richmond in fantastic fashion. It was a sweeping move, and it was a spectacular save. Javi Garcia just doing it again. His 6th penalty save of the season. O'Dwyer unable to crack the code, nor to follow up with the second opportunity. Ashmir Spengler was able to strike the post just before halftime, but chances few and far between in the early going for Texoma. It was Spengler at the controls, no surprise in the second half as he brought in Flowers, the 18-year-old who played his career high in minutes. And then the game-winning goal from Brandon McManus. An assist at the near post from Teddy Baker, flicked on in the 6-yard box. An opportunistic strike from an opportunistic player signed out of the Open Combine before this season, quickly becoming a fan favorite in Sherman. Espinal denied from close range, and there was one heart-in-mouth moment, but Kirkland couldn't make the most of it towards the end. 28 shots in total, only 7 of them found the frame, as Javier Garcia notched his 5th clean sheet of the season, and it marks the 10th time this year that Richmond kickers have been shut out, which is the most in USL League One. 2 teams who will not be in the postseason, but a win that is sweet nonetheless for Texoma. Out-edged in possession, out-edged in shots, but a 1-0 win for the home side as they wrap up their debut campaign in front of the red and white faithful. It's been a pleasure to have you with us this Saturday night. I want to give a big thank you to our entire production crew led by Zach Macer. My name is Parker Johnson, signing off from Sherman, Texas as we finish Texoma 1, Richmond 0.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.